We are live. We are live. Thursday night college football. We are live. Welcome to college football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do us well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash that like button. If you like our content, share the video with your family and your friends. If you want to support this college football rebels outpost for sickles like you, hit the $ where you make a comment and I'll get you a super chat as quick as I possibly can. Everybody, and I mean everybody, even Nathan Campbell, even Kerry Goldnose, even Ryan Brooks, Stephen Vitt, Caleb Ramirez, even Opie, that crazy Opie, even Bo Weevil and Trent Brown are welcome into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway in Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to be a legend with your comments in the chat room, with your phone calls at halftime, maybe post game. Put down your comments in real time. It doesn't matter if you're 10 seconds ahead of everybody, 5 seconds behind everybody. It don't matter. When you see something, say something that you want to say, put it in the chat. Don't worry about it. This is where you can put it real time, say bad call, touchdown, field goal, block, fumble, pick six, scoop and score. It don't matter. Put it down in the chat room in real time. Kerry Goldnose, thank you so much for your incredible generosity once again. Holy smokes. An incredible, valuable member of the PATC community. Mr. Seminoles, Kerry Goldnose, should be a good game tonight. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate it. It should be a good game tonight. And we know it's an important game tonight. How many Pittsburgh Panthers versus Syracuse Orange watch parties are there going to be in the college football YouTube world? How many tonight? I mean, is there any Pittsburgh Panthers YouTube channels that are going to be having a watch party? Any Syracuse Orange? We might be the only one. We might be the only one, and I don't care. I don't care if 5 people show up, 15 people show up, or if it's just me and Mr. Matt Neeson, the Iowa State Cyclone. We're going to be having a watch party because tonight is a very important football game. And this college football Peek Around the Corner is for college football sickles. Trent Brown, let's go. Let's go. You got that right. You got that right. I'm just warming up the voice. I'm just warming up the vocal cords. Big game. Pittsburgh getting no respect. The Panthers getting absolutely no respect. Still only ranked 19th in the country. I've got a Pittsburgh Panthers fan who's been DMing me. He's not happy. I should say he and she, his wife, not happy. Not happy that the Pittsburgh Panthers are not rated higher than number 19th in the country. And they believe that tonight the Pittsburgh Panthers make a statement. It's not going to be a squeak out victory. It's not going to be Eli Holstein making some miracle plays at the end of the game. They believe that the Pittsburgh Panthers are going to rout the Orange. Absolutely rout the Orange. I took Pittsburgh. So I don't know if that's good news or bad news. It's probably bad news. I took Pittsburgh. minus 5.5. I sort of have the same sentiment. I took Syracuse. You guys took Pittsburgh. That's right. I believe that Kyle McCord was going to keep the game close. So maybe that's good news for the Pittsburgh Panthers. Maybe that is good news. The PATC community took the Pittsburgh Panthers. Holy smokes, I took Syracuse. Man, oh man. Ricky, Greg, I am here. I am glad you're here. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your incredible generosity once again. Trent Brown, thank you. Kerry Golden Nose, thank you. Look, this is, let's take a look. And of course, I should have had this set up, and I don't because I am a moron. Here we go. Let's take a look. The ACC. Clemson's 5-0. Miami's 3-0. SMU is 3-0. And of course, we know that none of those three teams play each other. The Pittsburgh Panthers are 2-0. The Syracuse Orange is 2-1. The Pittsburgh Panthers, after this game, they play at SMU. So if they win this game, they can be an undefeated ball club in the ACC conference, undefeated totally, against SMU. That would set up a massive game on November 2nd. Then they're at home against Virginia, home against Clemson, at Louisville, at Boston College. So Pittsburgh, if they can win tonight, they're going to play a part of this. I mean, if they split the SMU Clemson games, I mean, what Pittsburgh does for the rest of the season could play an integral part in not only of course, their destiny, but the destiny of SMU, Clemson, and Miami on who's going to get to the ACC championship game. And then you look at the Orange. They're not out of it. If they pull the upset tonight at Pittsburgh, they're at home against Virginia Tech, on the road against Boston College, at California. Syracuse is going to be favored in all three of those games if they win tonight. They're going to be favored against Virginia Tech. Not by a whole lot, but they're going to be slightly favored. At Boston College, at California, UConn, all of those are winnable games. So, ladies and gentlemen, if Syracuse pulls off this upset on the road, they could be a one-loss conference team the very last game at home against Miami. Now, I know we've been through all this week. I get it. But we're just trying to set the table once again. This game, the Orange versus the Panthers, because of the expanded football playoffs, because most likely, the ACC champion is going to have an automatic bid into the playoffs. We're talking about 95, 97, 98, 99% chance. Even if it's a two-loss Orange or a Panthers, whatever. This game tonight is extremely important. And it's going to be treated as such here at college football's peak around the corner. Opie, Pitt controls their own shot. You are correct. And the Orange doesn't quite. Right? They don't quite. I mean, because if Clemson and SMU go undefeated and Syracuse defeats Miami at the last game, they don't quite own their destiny, but almost. Opie says Pittsburgh would be favored by 2.5 at Virginia Tech, and that game is at home, by the way. Right? Hold on. Oh no, we're talking Syracuse at home against Virginia Tech. Anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves, of course. But this is how important this game is. What's up, Flugar Nation? Thanks for coming on in. Jackson Johnson. Jeff Morgan's looking for a close game. Now this is not Freaky Friday. Every Friday night we have a Freaky Friday night game. But who knows what's going to happen tonight. Pittsburgh has been in close games all season long. Right? I mean, they've been squeaking out victory after victory after victory. And let's take another look. Cincinnati, that dramatic comeback, 28-7 win at Cincinnati. That dramatic comeback where they were down 10 points with like 5 minutes to go at home against West Virginia in the backyard brawl. They came back and won 38-34. North Carolina was a tight game. We saw the California game, 17-15. I'm telling you. But each of those games, even that California game, Eli Holstein has been able to make that one dramatic key pass or run to make the first down, to keep the drive going. In that West Virginia game, he was bumbling, stumbling, rumbling for first down after first down after first down. They couldn't quite bring him down, kept the drives alive, and somehow Pittsburgh escaped with a victory. Is Eli Holstein going to be able to do that again tonight? Is he? Bill G is in the house. Huge loss for Liberty last night. I was watching that game on CBS Sports Network. Liberty, Kennesaw State. I was talking about it on X, formerly known as Twitter. Liberty, undefeated Liberty, goes down to Kennesaw State, who had not won a game in FBS history, had not won a game this season. Holy smokes. The top of Conference USA loses to the bottom of Conference USA. Congratulations to Kennesaw State. Man, oh man, holy smokes. Mr. Hoosier, Daniel Montcastle, is in the house. Thanks for coming on in, Daniel. Yes, there's an NFL football game tonight. Vikings and the Rams. Guess what game I'm going to be watching? The Orange versus the Panthers. Orange versus the Panthers. Bo Weevil, I'm going to be part of history with Greg, the fat guy from Minnesota, watching Pitt and Cuse. I think we're probably going to be the only ones with the watch party. Maybe there's another one out there. Maybe there is. So, no, I'm not. Nope, not watching the hockey game either. What was I going to say? Liberty. Liberty's chances of getting into the playoffs now at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the season. These were the 5 G5 playoff contenders that I had grouped together. Memphis, Liberty, Tulane, Boise State, and Texas State Bobcats. Liberty needed to run the table, win all the games, and maybe have a couple of G5 playoff contenders, maybe all of them, lose 2 games for Liberty to get the berth. Now Liberty has eliminated themselves. They're not going to be in the playoffs. Memphis is pretty much down and out. Tulane has 2 losses. They're playing better. One of the losses was to Kansas State. Tulane still has a shot. Boise State, of course, still has a shot. And Texas State, my pick, they are eliminated. So, of course, it's now Boise State, Army-Navy situation, and Tulane, and UNLV. Those are the 5 front runners for the G5 playoff spot. That's what I believe. You let me know what you believe. You let me know if I got it all wrong. But that is what we're looking at. These, Texas State, it did not go the way I expected. Memphis did not go the way I expected. And Liberty just lost. Hold on, everybody. Just got to do some work here in the back. Okay, let me get this over here. Kickoff in about, 12, 13 minutes from now. Pittsburgh, Syracuse. Yeah, those were my preseason picks before the season started. The NFC North is a gauntlet. I just don't think Sam Darnold has enough juice to propel the Vikings into the NFC Championship game. I don't think the Vikings are going to get there. They're going to win a lot of games, obviously. They've got a real good defense. They got a lot of good things going on offense. They're a really good football team, but I don't think they have the quarterback. J.J. McCarthy was doing really good, and then he got injured, of course. So we'll see J.J. McCarthy be the quarterback next year. I just don't think Sam Darnold has the juice. He's had a good season. He's going to do fine, but don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, YouTube's been having a lot of problems. No question about that. You think Ollie Gordon enters the portal. I think Ollie Gordon's going to the NFL, right? Right? What's the word on Ollie Gordon? He should be going to the NFL. We do have some good news. Some good news for Syracuse tonight. Pete Thamel is reporting about an hour ago. Linebacker Marlowe Wax, who had a sensational season last year, and wide receiver Trevor Pina will play tonight for Syracuse. Coach Fran Brown told ESPN. Linebacker Marlowe Wax is warming up and is expected back for the first time since leaving the season opening game against Ohio with a lower body injury. Wax led the team in tackles in 2023 and 2022 and is an NFL prospect. He earned second-team All-ACC honors last year and started 39 straight games prior to the injury. He appears to be wearing a sleeve on his lower right leg. Pena, who had been day-to-day after being injured against North Carolina State, is expected to play, per Brown. Pena leads the team in receptions with 42 and is second with 458 receiving yards. So that is pretty good news for Fran Brown, getting back his big-time linebacker and his leading receiver who got nicked up. Good news for the Orange. Not so good news for the Panthers. His stock has fallen, no longer a first-rounder. Well, there's not a whole lot of running backs that are first-rounders anymore. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I just figured he'd go to the NFL. But then again, the world of college football has changed so much. Maybe he's going to get a whole lot of money in NIL. Yeah, from time to time we get buffering. It should be good right now, correct? Anyone taking Miami minus 21 versus Florida State? Well, on our picks, both myself and the PATC community took Miami. Kerry Gold knows. We both took Miami. I think the line, let's check the line, minus 20.5, minus 20.5. Minus 20.5. What was that? Let me show you something about. Let me show you something about. Where is this? Tim Reynolds, AP NBA writer. There are 661 NCAA football programs in this country. There are 25 that have not scored more than 21 points in a game this season. There's one FCS school, 5 Division II schools, 18 Division III schools, and 1 FBS school, and that is Florida State. Florida State is the one FBS school that has not scored more than 21 points in a game this season. So they've been struggling on offense, and Miami has been struggling on defense, but I don't think the Seminoles are going to be able to take advantage. I saw that. Per K Ford ratings, Panthers and Badgers have a 10% chance of making the playoffs. I saw that evil Badger, Jeff Olson. I can't remember the other I can't remember the other percentage. I think the Gophers were at the bottom. It was 0.01%, something like that. The bottom that had a chance, that wasn't 0%. Stephen McNeely is in the house. Mick Stevens is here. Well, we're going to get kickoff time here. Syracuse, Pittsburgh. Mega important game. What's your reaction to Grayson's McCall retirement? I'm happy for him. Because that latest time when he got injured, that was ugly. I'm happy for him. Hopefully he gets everything back working. And he's going to go into coaching. So I'm glad he's stepping away. Congratulations to an incredible college football career. Grayson McCall at Coastal Carolina was absolutely magnificent. And if we would have had the expanded playoffs during those years, Coastal Carolina would have made it to the playoffs, and Grayson McCall would have been the starting quarterback for Coastal Carolina. Crab Cakes and Football is back in the house. Thanks for coming on in, Mr. Terrapin. Minnesota versus Maryland, and the Minnesota Golden Gophers are wearing their 1950s helmet for the Maryland game. The helmet that we had during the 50s, we're using them. We're using them, baby, against Maryland. Let's go. Let's go. Maria Hernandez, Garcia, Rojas, Vargas, Flugar, the moderator, the one who rules with an iron fist, is in the house. Maria Garcia, the wife, is going to a concert. Going to a concert in the great state of Illinois this Sunday. She is leaving tomorrow with her some family and friends. I'm staying here. I got a job to do. I got to run this place. But Maria Garcia is not only going to Illinois, she's going to Rosemont, Illinois. She is going to be by the Big Ten corporate offices. She's going to try to take a picture, get a picture taken under the BIG, the Big Ten logo in the front with a Gophers sweatshirt jacket on. She's going to try to pull that off. So that's what Maria Hernandez Garcia Flugar, the Big Ten, that's what she's going to try to do now. Her husband is not all that popular inside that building for what I did in 2022, but she should be okay. She should. I'm getting her scared. Now I'm getting her scared. It's a suburb outside of Chicago. Suburb outside of Chicago. Okay. Did I see the Pete Thamel article today that said Lincoln Riley's buyout would be roughly $90 million? I did not see it. Lincoln Riley is not, they're not going to do that, right? They can't possibly do that. They can't do that. Right? Expedition Greg. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What was your reaction to Grayson McCall's retirement? I answered that question. Early Pete Cloak and Dagger member for 11 months. I'm so grateful. I'm so humbled that you've been a member for 11 months. Mr. Buckeye Expedition Greg, thank you so very much. You are hereby knighted, Cloak and Dagger. We still do not have permission to release the Cloak and Dagger episode that I want, that I've had information on for 2 weeks. Still not been able to pull the trigger. And once in a while, I'll be doing something, watching TV with the wife, making dinner for the mother. I'll be doing something, and I'll turn to Maria and I'll say, I just got the go ahead. And she knows what that means. And then I run in here and I do a live show, or I do an early Pete Cloak and Dagger members episode show. So that's what happens. So we're waiting. We are waiting. I have not been able to pull the trigger, but when I do, it's going to go to early Pete Cloak and Dagger members only. Thank you, Expedition Greg, so much. You are officially knighted, Cloak and Dagger. Thank you so much. Pittsburgh starts with the ball. Let's go. 25-yard line, 1st and 10. Eli Holstein, shotgun. I got to get this on. Couple yards. Got a couple yards. Okay, now I've got this. Play action. Going deep. Oh! Almost picked off. Almost caught. Going to Mumfield. Trying to take a shot at Mumfield. Incomplete. 3rd and 8. Eli Holstein, man, he's a dangerous quarterback. For your team and for the opponent. He can go both ways. Both ways. Empty backfield. He's going to run it. They got him. Pittsburgh's going to have to punt it away. Roger Dodger is not happy that people are talking about the buyout. I don't think it's even. There's no way. There's no way that USC is going to do that. First year in the Big Ten, going to a transition where you're going to have to pony up $22, $23 million for your salary floor. And USC hasn't been playing all that bad. They've been losing close games. Things haven't gone their way. If it happens next year, then Lincoln Riley will be feeling some real heat. But not this year. Lincoln Riley's okay. In my opinion, he's okay. Syracuse starts off with the ball here. First and 10. Taking a shot. Almost intercepted. Down the far sideline. Almost picked off. First down. Big play. Big play. Incomplete, 2nd and 10. Now watch the game. How full is the stadium? I haven't noticed, other than the student section behind the goalpost, that seems to be packed. That seems to be packed. 2nd and 10. Picked off! 20! 10! Touchdown! Pick 6! Panthers! Holy smokes!
Touchdown! Touchdown!
See, the student section is absolutely packed. We know that. Holy smokes! It probably is sold out. It is Pittsburgh Panthers, pick it off, Kyle McCord, touchdown. Wow.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
What a way to start the game for the Pittsburgh Panthers. Defensive touchdown. Narduzzi's team is winning in all different ways this year. My goodness. Another patented McCord throw. Look, he's going to do that, but he's going to have his moments this game. Positive moments. Positive moments. Hamas Hero is not impressed. Let me see here. Do they got this up? Okay. All right. So, 7-0 Pittsburgh trying to remain undefeated. They have a game against SMU next Saturday at SMU. I do not believe it has been determined I might be wrong, but I think it's in the 6-day window. I don't think they've determined what time that game is or what channel, what platform. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Steven Vitt, I like Pittsburgh's chances, to be honest. Hamas Hero, he makes amazing throws, but terrible ones also. He's the most Jekyll and Hyde quarterback in the sport. Do you know who's another Jekyll and Hyde quarterback? Redshirt freshman, Eli Holstein of Pittsburgh. He's much the same way. So we might be seeing more of that tonight. Kerry Gold knows SMU is my pick to win the ACC. Wow. 7-0 Pittsburgh. That did not take long. Kyle McCord has thrown 7 interceptions this year. 7 of them. Man, did that defender read that? Holy smokes. Number 31. Jose says it sounds pretty loud in the stadium. It's difficult for Pittsburgh to fill their stadium up, though. But it looks pretty full tonight for an undefeated Pittsburgh team. LaQuinn Allen gets the rock. Six yards, 2nd and 4. Trying to settle Kyle McCord down. Tavon Jackson for Indiana. He played last year. He struggled a bit. They said he's got a real good relationship with Rourke. He did not take it personally that they brought a guy in from the portal, so Tavon Jackson seems like a really good guy. And what's interesting, when he came in the second half against Nebraska, they did not change their offense. Indiana did not change their offense. Now he's more mobile than Rourke, so maybe they're going to have him running a little bit more this week. But I think it's going to be. It sounds like it's going to be full throttle for the Hoosiers. And what type of batted down 2nd and 10. But other than that, he struggled a bit last year, but he's a young guy and he has faced the live bullets before, so it's not like he's totally green going out there. I think they'll be okay. For the short term, I think the Hoosiers will be okay. 2nd and 10. It's going to be 3rd and long. Holy. That number 31 is having a first quarter, I'm telling you. A pick 6 and he just knocked somebody over. He just thumped the running back. My goodness. Rasheem Biles has taken over the game. Taken over the game. What are they calling that? That was incomplete, right? That's an INT? What is that? Oh, he caught it! What?
Oh my God! Oh my God!
That's a catch! Are you kidding me? I don't know, man. That guy was covered. That guy was covered like a blanket. I don't know what McCord, I don't know why he even tried. That guy was blanketed. Interception. Pittsburgh up 7-0. Second turnover already this game for the Panthers. They're going to try to score again. Pitch it out to Desmond Reed. Broken tackle. First down. My goodness. They've had the horseshoe all year, Bo Weevil. They've had the horseshoe, and they're shining it up real good tonight. My apologies. It was not a first down. Now it is a first down. First down and 10. Uh-oh. 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 We got a little bit of added drama here. Desmond Reed limping out of the game. Hopefully he's okay for the Panthers. He's their bell cow. Panthers might have lost their bell cow. Out to the tight end. Got nothing. Syracuse runs them out of bounds. Second and long. Second and 13. Rodney Hammond gets the ball. He's good too. And they were missing him earlier in the season, Rodney Hammond. Third and 8. I think you got to get some yards here if you want to go for it on fourth. Nah, bad pass. Incomplete. Fourth and 8. Kick the field goal, Narduzzi. Kick the field goal. And they're going to be going for a 48-yard field goal. 7-0 Pittsburgh. McCord's got to be stressed. $49-yarder from the right hash mark. Snap, hold, kick. It's good. Wow. Wow. The Panthers have taken the lead on 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions. 2 interceptions. My goodness. My goodness. Hummus Hero, they need to get Kyle some easy completions next drive. Letting him play like a gunslinger against this defense isn't going to work. Pittsburgh's had a good defense all year, and they usually have a good defense. Narduzzi's their head coach. He was a defensive coordinator, a very successful defensive coordinator with D'Antonio from Michigan State. Florida man, I'm watching this game in Spanish because I canceled Sling. Interesting. Well, so far, Kyle McCord, 1 of 6, 10 yards, 2 interceptions. 1 of 6, 10 yards, 2 interceptions. Eli Holstein, Pittsburgh's quarterback, 1 of 3, minus 3 yards. Holy smokes. LaQuinn Allen, 3 carries for 10 yards. Desmond Reed, 3 carries for 13 yards. But Desmond Reed did limp off the field the last time he carried the ball, the last time Pittsburgh had the ball. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's going to be able to come on in. If he doesn't, Rodney Hammond Jr. is going to get the rock tonight for Pittsburgh. Eli Holstein Eli Holstein has made some pretty good plays this year with his legs. Thank you, Kerry. Appreciate it. Thank you for your kind words and your super chat. Greg, your reactions are worth every super chat. Boy, I've been off tonight though. I didn't know that was an interception. I thought it was an incomplete pass. I thought they were acting like they picked up a fumble. I had no idea that was an interception. That second one. I was like, what's going on, guys? I lost track of where the ball was. I thought it was tipped up in the air and hit the ground. And they were celebrating a third down, a third down pass breakup. That's what I thought they were celebrating about. And then suddenly it's an interception. Thank you, Kerry Goldnose. Thank you once again for your incredible generosity. I appreciate it. 1st and 10. Kyle McCord needs a completion. He dumps it off to LaQuinn Allen. Got a couple yards. Good play. Good play. 2nd and 8. We need Syracuse to come back, or we're not going to be playing the mariachi in the middle of the third quarter. McCord now 2 of 7. Back to pass again. Ooh, just incomplete. Off his back shoulder. That was a pretty good throw. The wide receiver probably should have made a better attempt, an earlier attempt to adjust to the ball. Or maybe not. Maybe not. I can't blame the receiver. My bad. My bad. The receiver did all he could. It should have been better thrown. 3rd and 8. Shotgun. I believe that's LaQuinn Allen lined up next to Kyle McCord. Beautiful throw. Gadsden, first down to the great tight end of the Orange. Boom. Look for number 19 again and again and again. LaQuinn Allen gets wrapped up. It's going to be 2nd and 11. Beautiful throw by McCord. Gadsden was wide open, up the seam. 2nd and 12. It's got to be a close game in the middle of the third quarter for there to be mariachi. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We only play the mariachi in a competitive game in the middle of the third quarter. So, Syracuse has got to come back a little bit here. 2nd and 12. 2nd and 12. McCord should be looking for Gadsden again and again and again and again. Fran Brown is not happy. Fran Brown is not happy. Thank you, Expedition Greg, the best watch party in all of YouTube. Thank you. Thank you for those kind words. I believe, and I don't think there's much question, the best watch party of all college football YouTube is Coach Coop of Miami. I'm telling you, watch Coach Coop of the Miami Hurricanes. An incredible watch party. It's just so fun to watch him. He's got a great personality. Loves his Hurricanes. It's a different watch. He does a team. He roots for a team. It's a different situation, but he does a great job. But thank you so much. Almost picked off again. Almost the third interception for Pittsburgh. That ball might have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. Thank you, Expedition Greg. Thank you, Kerry Golden Knowles. Thank you so much. Was that ball tipped at the line of scrimmage? 3rd and 12. The Orange need this. They need this. You got trips right. Picked off again! He's going to the house! Touchdown! Are you kidding me?
Touchdown! Touchdown!
What's going on?
Touchdown! Touchdown!
What a run back! The Panthers, undefeated. Kyle Lewis. That's the second linebacker with the second pick six of the night. Kyle McCord is imploding. The Syracuse Orange, 2-1, big conference game on the road, and Kyle McCord is throwing to receivers that are absolutely blanketed. What is he doing? 3rd interceptions, 2nd pick six. Holy smokes. The Panthers are on fire. Wow. Eli Holstein, the quarterback in Pittsburgh, has completed one pass for -3 yards, and the quarterback has a 17-0 lead. You remember what I said pregame? I said I know a Pittsburgh big fan, donates to the program, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Him and his wife told me tonight Pittsburgh was going to make a statement. Remember I said that pregame? They were going to make a statement. This was not about just going to be squeaking on by. They feel disrespected. They're only number 19th in the country. They believe if their name was some other name, brand name, they wouldn't be rated 19th in the country. They'd be rated 13th, 14th, 12th in the country. Pittsburgh, are they making a statement tonight? Are they? Thursday night, the only real big game that's going on? Holy smokes. McCord's draft stock is going to plummet after tonight. SMU has Duke this weekend. And then they have Pittsburgh next weekend. Right now, there's not going to be any mariachi. Bro, what the hell is McCord doing? Pick six. Oh, goodness. Poor McCord. But is he loud, Greg? Not as loud as I am. Nobody is as loud as I am. But he's more entertaining. He's great. Coach Coop. Way more entertaining than myself. SMU will road grade Duke. Pittsburgh should be getting the same love as Indiana. Get the Vikings on TV too. This is a college football YouTube channel. I rarely ever talk about the NFL. I talk about UFOs more than I talk about the NFL. Wow. Wow. Woo! 17-0. Kyle McCord now has 9 interceptions for this season. 9! My goodness. Okay? All right. It's got to be now. It's got to be now. It's got to be now. This Syracuse Orange is on the mat. 3 interceptions. 2 of them pick 6. Highly traumatic. Highly traumatic. But can they rebound? Can they get off the mat? I think they can. I think they can. The whole season, right now, for the Syracuse Orange, comes all down in how they respond. Right here. They can't go in a halftime down 17-0, 20-0, down 24-0. They've got to make their mark right now. They've got to get the ball and go down the field and score. Right here. Make it 17-7. They make it 17-7. That's the first step in getting back into the game and keeping your dreams for an ACC championship. Let's go! Let's go Orange! Don't worry about it, Kyle McCord. Do not worry about it. Forget about those 3 interceptions. Forget about those 2 pick 6. This is your time. This is your time. Let's go. Beautiful handoff. Beautiful handoff. Beautiful hurdle. There it is. 8 yards. 8 yards. We're cooking now. We are cooking now. Let's go. We are cooking. We are cooking. 2nd and 2. Fran Brown is going to lead the Orange back. 3 guys in the... Oh, he got just crushed. I don't know what happened there. They got 3 guys in the backfield with the quarterback. Handed off. Complete miss block. The tight end absolutely whiffed on his block. It's 3rd and 5. The Panthers defense is all over the place. You got to get this first down. You got to get this first down. Yes, I did, A-Mac. I picked the Orange. Now watch, listen, and learn. This is going to be one of the greatest comebacks. McCord back to pass. First down. There we go. There we go. There are non-believers in the chat room. There are non-believers in the chat room. Let's go, Kyle McCord. Let's go. Handed off to Quinn Allen. Man, they are all over number 1. Allen's got no room. My goodness, 2nd and 10. Is this the Pittsburgh Panthers defense or is this the Steel Curtain? My goodness. Holy smokes. Good play, good play. First down, Syracuse. Beautiful little screen pass. All right, all right. Momentum is starting to turn. What's the flag? What's the flag? Give him hell, Fran Brown. Give him hell. Oh, come on. They're calling the holding on that had nothing to... Come on, man. First and 20. All right, gather yourselves. Gather yourselves. Dump it off. LaQuinn Allen, make somebody miss. Nope. Late hit. Throw the flag. Nope. Nope. Not getting anything tonight. Okay, guys, we got to earn it. 2nd and long. 2nd and a country mile. Yeah, it was holding. It was. On the line, on the running back that was trying to, he did not have to hold. Kyle McCord stepped up in the pocket. Great throw. Yell at your guys, Fran Brown. Yell at them. 2nd and 16. Another little crossing pattern. Pittsburgh knows what's coming. They're all over it. They saw that coming. Kyle McCord did not look off. Kyle McCord, shotgun, looked at his guy crossing over the whole time. Pittsburgh following Kyle McCord's eyes. Look one direction, throw the other. Come on, McCord. Look one way, throw the other. Don't lock in so early. 3rd and 16. What are you doing? What are you doing, wide receiver? Oh, this is a mess. This is an absolute mess. What was the receiver doing? Third and 21. You got to let this ball rip. You've got to force it now. You cannot be conservative. Don't be conservative. Look for Gatson, number 19. Look for Gatson, number 19. All right, go for it now. You got to go for it. 4th and 4. 4th and 4 at the Pittsburgh's 44-yard line. You can't punt this ball. You got to go for it. Roll those dice. Roll them. Illini 10. McCord has many completed passes to Pittsburgh players as he does Syracuse players. He's got more completed passes to Pittsburgh than Eli Holstein does. Now that was a great play by Kyle McCord. You got to give it to him. That's a first down. Tremendous play. It's been a very rough goal for McCord, but that was all him on that. First down, Orange. Wow. Wow. Okay, here we go. The inspirational speech from the fat guy from Minnesota worked. It worked. Get rid of it! All right. All right. We're okay. We're okay. We are okay. Holy smokes, we are not okay. My goodness. Rasheem Biles is all over the place. The linebacker for Pittsburgh. He's playing like a madman. He's making plays all over the place. Rasheem Biles, but he's off the field because his helmet came off. Take advantage of this. Out to LaQuinn Allen. Make somebody miss, young man. All right. 3rd and 7. 3rd and 7. Shotgun. 4 receivers out. They need 6 yards, 7 yards. End of the first quarter. 1 quarter in the books. Pittsburgh 17. Syracuse nothing. 2 pick sixes in the first quarter. 3 interceptions in the third quarter. Greg, will we be getting any Gophers propaganda for homecoming on Saturday? The only propaganda that you're going to be receiving is the Gophers are wearing their 1950s helmets. The beautiful helmets, white helmets with the gold stripe down the middle and black numbers on the side. That's what we wore couple years in the 50s. They're bringing them back for a homecoming Saturday. It's going to be a close game. Can go either way. The Gophers are healthy. That's good news. Billy Edwards made a bunch of plays against the USC Trojans. If he does that against Minnesota, we're going to be in for a tight one. Looks like it's going to be another sold out crowd at Minnesota. Stephen Vitt, Kyle McCord was very calm when he played my Ohio Bobcats. Big difference here, I know, but I'm sensing nervousness from number 6. The bye week came at a good time. And the Gophers will get another bye week before Penn State. I will say this. The one propaganda, Golden Gopher propaganda, I will say is the number 1 rated from Pro Football Focus, the number 1 rated true freshman of all of FBS college football. From any position, from all positions, the number 1 rated player in the nation, for true freshmen, is Coy Pirch, the safety from Minnesota. So that's pretty cool. We all knew he was going to be a great player. If you looked, I never talk about guys recruits, Gopher recruits in the offseason. Because, but this guy we all knew was going to be a superstar. Happened a little bit earlier than we expected. The number 1 rated true freshman football player in the country. So you will get plenty of propaganda this next offseason when I'm going to be pushing Heisman candidacy for Coy Perch next year. Because I think they're going to use him on offense as well next year. Not like Travis Hunter, but a little bit on offense next year. We'll see how that goes. We'll see I'm going to check any reporting going on here. About this game. No, nothing really new. Oklahoma receiver Deion Burks has been downgraded to doubtful against Ole Miss. The Oklahoma Sooners don't have any of their receivers. Texas star receiver Isaiah Bond is now likely to miss the Longhorns matchup versus Vanderbilt. So again, Texas star receiver, they're going to be missing Isaiah Bond for the second week. That hurt the Longhorns last week. Going to hurt them this week. Almost picked off again by Pittsburgh on a 3rd and 6. Holy smokes. The Syracuse Orange receivers are not getting any separation. This is crazy. The Panthers are all over these guys. Fourth and 6. Looks like Pittsburgh's coming with the blitz. Syracuse is out of Blasey. Incomplete. He was open. Number 19, Gatson, was wide open. And the ball was overthrown. Kyle McCord missed him. He had gotten separation all the way down to the 10-yard line of Pittsburgh, and Kyle McCord could not hit him. It could have been a touchdown or at least first down and goal, but Kyle McCord overthrew him. Pittsburgh gets the ball. Eli Holstein is thrown for -3 yards. We'll see if the Panthers offense can do anything. Holstein's going to keep it. Run for 8 yards. That's what he does when he's struggling. He starts to run with the ball. 2nd and 2. Kerry Golnos thought that Gatson should have caught it. I don't think he could have. Just my opinion, though. It looked like it was a bit overthrown. 2nd and 2. Desmond Reed. First down, but we're going to get a holding call on Pittsburgh. No. Hands to the face. Hands to the helmet on Syracuse. First down, Panthers. Wow. Wow, this is going all pear-shaped. This is all going pear-shaped for the orange. The orange has gone pear. The orange has gone pear. AMAC said that Kyle McCord's last incompletion, at least it wasn't an interception. Desmond Reed breaks a tackle, and again, he's limping a little bit. Got good yardage. Another broken tackle by Desmond Reed. Greg, have the Hoosiers played at the Gophers' new stadium? Boy, that's a great question. First down, Panthers. A good run. Desmond Reed is lathering up. I don't know, Ricky. I really don't know. They've only played like one time in the last incomplete. Let's take a look here. Minnesota versus Indiana. Minnesota's won 40 times, lost 26. They played 2021 at Indiana. They played 2018 at TCF Bank. So one time. 2013 at Bloomington. Touchdown! Pittsburgh! And now it's a rout. Now it's a rout. Holy smokes.
Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown!
Yeah, one time, Ricky. One time. Boy, this is setting up a massive game. Next Saturday at SMU. Pittsburgh and SMU. Wow. Wow. Let's take a look here at the schedule. Let's jump ahead a little bit here. We know that Pittsburgh basically is on their way to a victory. SMU is a big favorite this week. Well, you know, a decent favorite against Duke, which is another big game. I want to take a look at Week 10 ACC schedule. This is Week 10 ACC schedule. You've got Duke versus Miami. Now, Miami's going to be 3-1 in the ACC, or 2-2, right? Miami's probably going to be 8-0, 4-0 in the ACC. Duke versus Miami. Louisville versus Clemson. Now, Louisville's basically out of the ACC title race with their second loss. Got to play at Clemson. Pittsburgh at SMU. Wow. Pittsburgh looks like they're going to be 3-0. SMU, if they beat Duke, they're going to be 4-0. If they lose to Duke, they're 3-1. Either way, that is a massive game. Pittsburgh at SMU. Again, this is next week. Stanford, NC State, North Carolina, Florida State, Syracuse versus Virginia Tech. There it is, guys. Pittsburgh at SMU next week. My goodness. My goodness. We are going to open up the phone lines. I don't normally do this early on a watch party, but it's 24-0. If you want to call in, talk about college football, these week's games, whatever you want to talk about in college football, give me a call. The phone lines are going to be open. I'm going to still announce this game. We're going to look at it, watch it.
From
Crab cakes and football.
Crab cakes and football. Thanks for calling, my friend. What's going on, sir? You getting ready for Saturday?
Yes, I am, but I've been working my rear end off. I'm a truck driver, as
Yep.
you know, and I've been working 60-plus hours a week.
Wow.
So I haven't been able to really. I'm about ready to be an assistant to Santa Claus for the next couple of months. So we got to make sure that things go right, if you know what I mean.
No, no, I completely understand. Completely understand. That Maryland,
just in case any kids are listening.
That Maryland USC game was fun to watch, I tell you.
Well, I mean, yes, I'm glad we won it, and I'm glad that we rebounded, and I'm glad that we actually showed what we were supposed to have showed before. But, man, if we can just cut down on the mistakes, that would have been a 42-17 game or something like that, I think it would have been. Because we gave up. We gave up the interception in the end zone. That stupid penalty that gave them 7 points because they missed a field goal. But we were, little things like that. If you just took all it as it was, it never happened or it did happen, it would have been a bigger win. But hey, I'll just take the win. We kind of grew up in the second half. I like the way we looked.
And Billy Edwards made a lot of plays down the stretch, man. He made a lot of consecutively, right? I mean, Maryland had to make a bunch of plays, and he did it. He pulled it off.
I just read a stat literally before I got on the phone with you. There's only two players. I forget what the time frame is in the last decade or something like that or whatever. 7 consecutive 250 yards plus games, Cardell Jones and Billy Edwards.
Wow.
So I forget exactly what the time frame is. It may not have been a decade. I can't remember, but it's like, something that's happened. I think it was a decade or whatever, but there's only been 2 of them.
Guess what? Guess what, crab cakes and football? Guess what?
I think I know where this is going.
That streak dies this Saturday because you've got, the best pass defense in the nation. So good luck, Billy Edwards. Good luck.
Best pass defense or best or second best? I heard second best, but it don't matter.
I don't know. It don't matter. And we're not really the best. We're not. The Gophers don't really have the best pass defense either because people have been so successful running on us. That's why, I'm not saying we're bad against the pass because we're not, but we're not as good as the statistics show because people like to run on us. So, you know how that is.
Well, I had been waiting for my defense to show up. I mean, they were supposed to be the backbone of the team, and they let us down. And then they grew up in the second half, and they did things that I'm like, okay, where was this at all year long? So, but y'all've got some pretty big dudes for your offensive line. So that is going to be the matchup right there, our defense line versus your offensive line.
Yeah, and the Gophers always have a big offensive line, but unfortunately, it just hasn't gone. The offensive line has not been what we Gopher fans thought it was going to be this year. They've underperformed, and I don't know why. Can't figure it out. So I don't know what we're going to get.
Our offensive line has just been junk until, I don't know what happened for Northwestern. We outdid them in every statistical category except for the final scoreboard. It was the weirdest game I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But it's just then all of a sudden, we couldn't run in the first half against USC. In the second half, we started finally gaining yards and doing things, and it's the offensive line is I guess they're finally getting to where they feel comfortable playing as a unit. I don't know. I don't want to make any, dire predictions on that because the second I say, oh, we're ready, our offense, and then all of a sudden we'll get smacked in the head. So, but right now we're just trying to find a way to get bowl eligible. I mean, we weren't expecting the USC win, and we had the MSU win in hand. We lost MSU, but we won it against USC, so that cancels each other out. Mm-hmm. Indiana, they're incredible this year, so
yeah.
I think they just caught everybody off guard. But we had 4 interceptions against them or whatever it was. Just couldn't take advantage of it. And then the carryover happened to Northwestern, and I don't know what happened with Northwestern. No excuses there. So I'm looking as a 5-game season now. We have y'all. Then we got to go to Oregon after a bye week.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Good luck with that. And then we got to come home against Rutgers. Then we got Immaculate's Iowa Hawkeyes at home. We're calling that a revenge game, by the way. I don't know if he's listening or not. So that is what we're billing it up as. So I don't know how that's going to go. And then we got Penn State on the road. And if everything goes wrong in my Terps life for the rest of the year, if we're only allowed to win one more game, I want it to be against Penn State at their house just before the playoffs and knock them down the peg. If that could happen, I'll be happy with it.
Wow.
So,
You guys got a tough schedule, though. Holy smokes.
Yeah, we do not have it easy. We gave away our supposedly easy games.
Yeah.
And Pinetti, or however you say his name, he did a magnificent job with that Indiana team.
Yes.
We were in it, though. I wish our offense of this past weekend would have been the offense against Indiana. Then we probably would have won that game, or at least been a lot closer.
Yeah.
A loss maybe, but maybe it's by 7 points or 3 points or whatever, not 21 points or whatever it was. But
yeah. So Maryland is
nothing we can do about the
Maryland
pass.
is 4-3. At Minnesota, at Oregon, at home against Rutgers, at home against Iowa, at Penn State. So you need to win 2 more games to go to a bowl game. So your best spots are probably this Saturday against Minnesota and at home against Rutgers. It's going to be tough to beat Oregon or Penn State. So you've got 3 games to win 2. Minnesota, Rutgers, Iowa.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I think that's how you have to look at it.
Because Maryland doesn't like to do things the correct way, we always have to be hard on ourselves. We'll do something like y'all did, beat a USC and lose to Northwestern. It's like, come on, what are you doing,
Yeah.
It's so, I don't know. Right now, I'm hoping we can get at least 6. If we get 7, great. I mean, then regardless of how we got it, we could still look at the year as a success, considering everybody said we were going to take a step back.
Yeah.
And we did take a step back. But, can we build off a big win? Because, I mean, as you know, beating USC, that's not an easy task at all. I mean, the name alone, it's kind of hard. It's when you win, it's like, okay, wow. So,
interception, Syracuse. Eli Holstein got rushed, threw an interception, but there's a flag, and we might be getting rough in the quarterback. Sorry about that, Crab Cakes.
Oh, no problem. The game comes first, man. The game comes first.
Yeah, rough in the quarterback. The Orange got an interception, their best play of the game, but they roughed the quarterback, so boy, oh boy, oh boy. And I don't know about that roughing call. What did he do wrong?
I'm not.
Oh, how can they call that? Sorry, Crab Cakes.
No problem.
Terrible call. The quarterback got hit. No targeting. People in the chat, Illini Ted says terrible call. Fran Brown is just irate. How can they call that? Is that reviewable? What are they doing? Come on, man. The quarterback got hit in the chest, not even using the helmet. He didn't launch. That is just a good hit. What is going on? Thank you, Crab Cakes. Sorry about that. I got to get back to the game. Appreciate the call, my man.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, I appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much. Good luck on Saturday, but not too much good luck.
Well, we'll talk afterwards, man.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, later.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign.
That is unbelievable.
A sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign. A sign. I wanna be the.
Did the announcers say why they called? What was the reason for the roughing the quarterback? Did they say that he got driven to the ground? What was the reason? Let me know in the chat or in a phone call. Let me know why they called roughing the quarterback. Helmer Hennison, do you find it funny that the worst teams are denied practice time when bowl season comes around? Well, that is one of the incentives to be bowl eligible, to accept a bowl game. And then you have 14, 15 extra practices for your players, especially the ones that didn't play throughout the season. That is supposedly an incentive for you to accept. The coaches really want those extra practices, getting ready for next season. But yeah, the ones that are the worst teams don't get to have those extra practices. Thank you, Hemmer Hennison. I find it a little bit ironic, but that has always been an incentive for it to happen. Thank you, Hemmer Hennison, for the super chat. Appreciate your generosity once again. Great question. Great comment, I should say. The announcer said it was a bad call. I guess Illini Ted says the only reason they could come up with was all of his weight landing on him. I guess, but I mean, how do you tackle a guy? How do you bring a guy down as quick as you possibly can? And how do you do it? I mean, what are you supposed to do at the last second? Kind of avoid landing on him? Boy, that was a good football play. And that good football play led to the interception. Terrible. Illini Ted said, but the announcers said it was a bad call. AMAC, just another example of bad refereeing this season. Well, Syracuse gets the ball back. Pittsburgh did have to punt. Again, unfortunately, we don't have much of a game tonight. And I thought it was going to be close. 24-0 Panthers. Syracuse have gone pear-shaped. The phone lines are open if you want to give us a call. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. First and 10, Syracuse, shotgun, dump off. It's going to be about 2nd and 5. And now we've got an injury on the field. And it's Gatson, their great tight end. Nothing is going right. Nothing is going right for Syracuse.
From
Power Up Ken.
I'm sorry, did not get the name?
Up Ken.
Something Ken, you keep going out on me. What is it?
Oh, Ken is fine.
Ken, okay, thanks for calling, Ken. The floor is yours.
I just want to say I thank you for doing what you're doing, and my favorite thing to do when I'm watching football games is to update my own ranking system and kind of see where teams land and how much they go up and down.
Sure. Yep.
I've been doing that ever since the BCS era, and yeah, I had Pittsburgh ranked 14th before this game, and I think if they can continue to win, I think they'll move up to 11, at least in my rankings.
Okay. Well, especially if if it remains a blowout, it's like.
Oh yeah.
And they haven't, they haven't had those blowout wins, right? They've all been pretty close, competitive games. Pittsburgh making the right play at the right time late in the game. But this one is a statement game. So they're going to move up on this win, in my opinion.
Yep.
And it sounds like your opinion as well.
I think so for sure. But no, I've been listening to you for a long time, haven't called in, and just wanted to say thanks for all you do, and saw there was an opportunity to do that, so thank you.
I appreciate it, Ken. I appreciate it. And please call again, okay?
Okay, we'll do.
Got it, buddy. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Great call. Great call. Thanks, Ken. Very kind of Ken to give us a call. We're almost treating this more like a live show than a watch party, unless Syracuse can get back in this game. It's been all Pittsburgh. All Pittsburgh. Carry Gold knows tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, Boise State versus UNLV is huge. Now, absolutely. And I am planning to do a watch party on that game. Here is the thing. The game is on CBS Sports Network, which I have. But maybe a lot of you don't have it. And it's hard to do a watch party. There's a completion. First down, Syracuse. It's hard to do a watch party when the people in the chat aren't watching the game, right? So, I'm going to go ahead and do it. But, I not a whole lot of people may show up, which is fine. There's also the Rutgers game, and what's going on here? Hold on a second. So I'm gonna do it. It's a huge, massive game. I mean, massive game. And you got the quarterback, UNLV. You got the great running back of Boise State. It is so important throughout the G5 conference schools. What did Kyle McCord do there? Holy smokes. What is going on? So, yeah. It's a massive game. I mean, it is. Let me ask you guys a question. I'm gonna ask it in a poll. Is this Friday night game versus UNLV of UNLV versus Boise State the most important game between two G5 programs ever? Now let me explain the question. Is this Friday night game of UNLV versus Boise State the most important game between two G5 programs ever? In other words, this is the first year that there's going to be automatically a G5 representative school in the playoffs. Now, there's a fumble. I don't know what's going on. Syracuse has got the ball. There is a flag. Now, there might have been a more important G5 game that Cincinnati had in their AAC championship game. You might want to consider that. That might be the most important G5 game. But it has to be two G5 teams playing against each other. Not the Boise State versus Oklahoma bowl game, which was massively important for the Boise State football program. This Friday night's game the most important game ever between two G5 programs, ever? It might not be, right? Because Cincinnati made it to the playoffs as a G5 and they had important games down the road. Let me know, yes or no. The voting begins now. Or if there was some other G5 game that you think was more important. Thank you, Carrie Golden Knowles, for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And thanks again for bringing that game up in the chat room for tomorrow night. We're going to be doing a watch party. We're going to be on late, baby. We're going to be on late. We're going to be going on in the early morning hours of Saturday morning. People are saying maybe, maybe, maybe. I'm going to give the voting 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 69% of the PATC community says yes. For right now, yes. Jeff Morgan says it's a tough question. The most important G5 game could end up being Army and Navy in the AAC championship game. Could be, depending on what happens between UNLV and Boise State. See, John, yes, but if Army beats Notre Dame, Army and Navy, or Tulane will be massive. You're exact. I agree with you. I agree with you. See, John, great point. Great point. You put it a lot better than I did. Skaven, yes, yes. Hello, Mad Gopher. Go Big Red. Nebraska getting ready for the Buckeyes. The Cornhuskers looking for an upset bid against the Buckeyes. I can't believe Liberty got beat last night. Holy smokes. That was crazy. Absolutely crazy. Expedition Greg. Thank you, Carrie Gold Knowles. Appreciate it. Great, great question. Or not question, but great comment. Phone lines are open if you want to give us a call. We're kind of treating this like a watch party live show. We've drifted away from the game a little bit because it's been all Pittsburgh. 24-0. It's been brutal. The Orange have played horrific tonight. And some of that, you got to tip the cap to the Panthers. They are all over the Orange wide receivers. Syracuse wide receivers, no or little separation. Gadsden got a little bit of a separation on a big fourth down play, but Kyle McCord overthrew him. Navy has a tough game this weekend. And we're going to be doing the watch party. So what's going to happen is, tomorrow night, we're going to be on late in the early morning hours. Of Saturday morning. Then I'm going to get up and I'm going to prepare Notre Dame Navy. That game is 12 noon Eastern Time, 11 Central Time, 10 Mountain Time, 9 Pacific Time. We're going to be doing a watch party. Navy versus Notre Dame. And I cannot wait. I'm all fired up for that game. And I usually, big sack! Big sack! And guess who? Rasheem Biles. Rasheem Biles again having an incredible football game. Big number 31. Their outstanding linebacker. Holy smokes. The Pittsburgh Panthers have demolished Syracuse. My goodness. This is a Panthers celebration tonight. Stephen Vitt, great. Keep an eye on both Louisiana and Louisiana Monroe. If the other G5 teams ahead of them start falling. All right, Stephen Vitt, I will. I know Louisiana Monroe has had a very good season. Very good season. What was I saying, by the way? Navy Army. Yes, so we're going to be doing that game. And I usually do not, during the watch parties, I do not root for either team. If I'm rooting for a team, it's going to be David versus Goliath. I'm going to be rooting for David. But I'm usually rooting for a good game. That's what I usually do on watch parties. But Saturday, Notre Dame versus Navy, and again, no, I'm not taking a shot at Notre Dame. I've got family members who are Notre Dame fans, Irish Catholic. This is not a shot against Notre Dame. But I'm going to be telling you, I'm going to be 100% rooting for Navy. This is going to be a Navy watch party. I'm warning you right now. And this is an Army family. When it's Army versus Navy, we always say, go Army, beat Navy. My father, my uncles, they all served in the Army during World War II and the Korean War. This Saturday, when you've got Navy and Army both undefeated this late in the season, the first time since 1945, you better believe I'm going to be rooting for Navy.
From
Rick.
Rick is on the line. The floor is yours. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Greg Flugo, are you ready to put on your thinking cap?
Okay, the thinking cap is on. Now, my thinking cap has holes in it. It doesn't work very good, but it is on. Go ahead.
But it's got to be yours.
Yes.
It's August 2027.
Uh-oh.
And I'm getting ready to pick the football games I'm going to watch.
Yes.
Who are the new teams that have been added to the Big Ten and the SEC?
I don't like to. What happens in this case is if I went and speculated, then people say Greg is reporting that this is going to happen, or so I don't like to do that too much. I only like to really. I'm only going to answer it this way.
Allegedly.
No, I'm going to be. All I'm going to say is that the Big Ten for now is willing to wait for Notre Dame. They want North Carolina as well. And whatever comes, those two possibilities. And the SEC wants North Carolina and whatever connective tissues that have to come with it. And that's all. I can't answer that question any more than that. I'll say this, that Miami is something that the Big Ten would be interested in pursuing once they become available. It doesn't mean they're going to be one of their top couple targets, but they would be very interesting to the Big Ten. And that, that's pretty much, obviously, Florida State and Clemson would have eventually some interest from the SEC, and maybe Florida State would have a little bit of interest from the Big Ten, but they're not one of the top targets. And that's all I'm going to say. I can't answer it any more than that. All I'm going to do is get myself in trouble if I go further than that.
Well, let me try something else then, real quick.
Yeah.
Can Notre Dame force the Big Ten into taking Stanford with them?
Boy, that's a great question. I am not. I'm going to say no. They can't force them to take them. But I think the Big Ten would be willing to play along if that's what Notre Dame wants. In other words, if Notre Dame, I've had conversations about that question, obviously, and in other words, if Notre Dame picked up the phone and said to the Big Ten, we're willing to talk more, because they've always talked about it. We're willing to go into the deep weeds on this. But, our intentions would be to join the Big Ten by 2027. We want to make sure to bring Stanford with us. And I'm not convinced that Notre Dame would do that. And I'll get into that into a second. But if Notre Dame would say that, I think the Big Ten would come back and say, okay, we're willing to listen to the Stanford add-on with you, Notre Dame, but then we get something back in return. Because you're calling the shot on School 20, we're going to get something back in return. And Notre Dame's going to say, what would that be? And the Big Ten would probably say, well, Notre Dame, you got to agree to play on a Friday night once a year for the next 5 years. Stuff like that, right? All that would get hammered out, back and forth, give and take, and maybe it would happen. I don't think the Big Ten would just say, oh, okay, well, you do, whatever you want, Notre Dame. I don't think it would be like that. The conversations I've had with people on Notre Dame is, would they go all out to take Stanford with them is sort of, people are not convinced by that. The thing about Notre Dame is they've always wanted to make sure that they played a away game in the state of California once a year. So California and Stanford were their teams that they played. Long history with USC, long history with Stanford. And they always wanted to make sure they've got a large following in the state of California. They want to be a national brand, an independent program, big following. Back a couple decades ago, a big following in Los Angeles, big Catholic, whatever, population, demographics. And now, if Notre Dame went into the Big Ten and USC and UCLA, they could make it to where they made sure that they played in California once every 2 years. They could get some where USC and UCLA are their permanent rivals, and they can go home and away, every year, make sure they play one game in California. So maybe they wouldn't have that incentive to bargain Stanford into the conference. But having said that, Notre Dame and Stanford do have a great close relationship. So I don't have the answer. I'm just giving you some options there. But I don't think they can force it in, but they can wheel and deal it in. If Notre Dame really wants Stanford to be their partner, they can wheel and deal and make it happen.
Pick 6 for Pitt. A pick 6 for Pitt.
Really? Holy
Yeah.
smokes!
Hey, thanks for the insight.
Well, thank you. I'm sorry, I can't really answer it, but I think you can probably read between the lines. So.
Well, you gave me a peek around the corner on Notre Dame. I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, man. Thanks for the call. Sorry, guys. I missed a touchdown. Wow.
Call from
BJ.
BJ, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir.
Yeah, what's up, Greg? And as always, appreciate it having me on the platform.
You bet.
A few things. You mentioned what you mentioned about Notre Dame. I think is pretty accurate from just a logical standpoint. I think everyone knows Notre Dame wants to play in California at least once a year.
Yeah.
Notre Dame has prioritized being a national brand, and out of all of the conferences in America, Big Ten is the most national out of all brands, right? All major cities, from Portland, Seattle, if they get Stanford, it'll be San Francisco, LA, Chicago, Minneapolis, Detroit, Chicago, all the cities. So I think them joining the Big Ten, if and or when they do, I think Notre Dame can still hold true to its kind of goals of being a national brand and being in California. They have to take a hit back from being independent. I think they've kind of hugged that independence thing, squeezed everything out of it, in my opinion. But giving up independence, but still, being a national brand in the way that they want to be, I think the Big Ten does that for them. No other brand can really do that, in my opinion. As great as the SEC is still rather, regional, in my opinion, in terms of followership. But I have this is more of a hypothetical, not a rhetorical question, rather. So when I look at these teams that we have in the top 20, 25, I try to study and understand logic behind rankings and power ratings. Power ratings are a little more digestible. rankings are purely subjective, in my opinion. And rankings kind of hint at biases, implicit or explicit bias. But when I look at these rankings, I've watched Pittsburgh play several times. I've watched Iowa State play, several times. Give me a good reason why Iowa State is so far ahead of Pitt when on the field, Pitt has performed better. Iowa State really doesn't have a significant win other than the week 3 win versus, I think, Iowa. I think it was week 3 or it was earlier in the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think Iowa ended up, Iowa's what, 4-3? I think, mid.
Yeah, that's their big win. And they barely beat UCF. And they had no other competitive games. They've won everybody pretty good, but yeah, their only win against West Virginia is basically at the medium line. Iowa's their one really good win. Yep.
Now, I'm not saying Iowa State is not a bad team. I'm not saying Pitt is better.
Yeah.
But the rankings there's nothing I can point to where I said, no, for sure, Iowa State is better, other than the fact that preseason, the thing is, I think Iowa State is going to be better. Iowa State had more known commodities, and their quarterback and their head coach plays a brand of football that, is pretty consistent. But one could argue Narduzzi is just as good as Campbell, or maybe more successful than Campbell.
They're about the same, and you got to look at what where Campbell's doing this at a place that's never done it before. So, but yeah, I would say they're about the same.
Because go ahead. I'm listening. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Both have had a good run where they are. Yeah.
I mean, Narduzzi, his defensive kind of brand at, I think it was at Michigan State before he came over.
Yep.
Was renowned. Like he is a real coach, right? And I think he's taken Pitt to a New Year's Six bowl game before, if I'm not mistaken, with Kenny Pickett. And I don't think Iowa State has played in the New Year's Six bowl. Have they? Under Campbell?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they haven't. So when you look at success-wise, one could argue Pitt under Narduzzi has performed better than Iowa State. Now Pitt, if you're over 35 and 40, Pitt is a great, very good brand. They got Dan Marino, Tony Dorsett. They have a really rich history. But over the past 30, 40 years, not so much. And like I said, it's not saying that Pitt is better than Iowa State. It is more the rankings just irk me because they seem to be littered with implicit and explicit bias, which kind of affects, where teams get placed in terms of TV ranking or on TV slots and stuff. If Pitt had a number 9 ranking on their next to their name, they would get better TV slots, in my opinion. But anyway, that's just, you can speak on it if you want to. But great performance by Pitt tonight. Pitt's defense is amazing. Their rookie quarterback, not rookie, but redshirt freshman Holstein. Great pickup. Nobody really wanted him coming from Alabama, which is surprising. But I will say this. I think the skill set that coaches have to kind of pick up in this new age of college football, we can't go by names. They're going to have to look at the skill sets of these quarterbacks because the quarterback position is becoming more and more and more important in the college game, where if you jack up on that quarterback, your season is toast. But thank you very much, Greg, for allowing me to speak on your platform.
Thanks for the call, BJ. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think BJ makes a good point. I said at the start of the show that the Pittsburgh fans, the people that I know, one person's a small booster, his wife talking to me, DMing me on X, and they think Pittsburgh was disrespected. They should be higher than 19th. I think I've been looking at the two results. I think Iowa State has a slim, a little bit better resume. Now, is it a difference between 10 and 19? Big enough resume difference? Probably not. And Pittsburgh should probably be ranked a little bit higher. I mean, Iowa State has the bigger win. They had one common opponent, and Iowa State did a lot better against West Virginia at Morgantown than Pittsburgh did at home against West Virginia. So that was advantage Iowa State. I think they got a little bit better resume, but I understand. I do understand. This is going to help Pittsburgh, though, this blowout, because Syracuse, 5 wins coming into this game. This is really going to help the Pittsburgh Panthers. They're going to move up. Thank you for the call, BJ. Ryan Willie, can Northern Illinois and Toledo really leave the MAC for football only? Well, yes, they can, but are they? The talks continue, according to all public reports. If they do that, they're going to have to supposedly move all the other sports out of the MAC. I don't know what. If Northern Illinois and Toledo do this, I am going to be baffled by it. I'm going to be baffled by it. I don't know if they're making a leverage play with the MAC conference. I don't know if they're trying to squeeze a little bit more out of the MAC. This is one of those rare occurrences where if something happens in realignment, I'm going to be completely scratching my head. For them to leave the MAC conference to join the Mountain West, they're going to get paid a little bit more. No question they're going to get paid more. No question. No question. Not just a little bit more. They're going to get, But, man, I don't know. But, yeah, they can, Ryan Willie, but they're going to have to shuffle the chairs on their ship. If they do that, they're going to have to make some non-revenue sports, Olympic sports decisions with all their other programs. Man, I don't know if it's worth it. I just don't know if it's worth it. But it's going to be very interesting to watch this play out. Thank you, Ryan Willie. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it so very much. Thank you for your generosity once again. They can. That's the answer to that question. Oh, there's a couple questions up here. Then I cannot. Arnegad, does Minnesota or anybody else in the Big Ten try to boss the conference around? No. The Big Ten does have factions, just like any other conference. The Big Ten has factions. One of the most powerful factions in the Big Ten is Wisconsin and Michigan. They are a voting bloc onto themselves, and Minnesota usually folds into that faction. Minnesota used to be the big shot that called the shots along with Michigan. There is a big story, if you want to read about it, where, and I've talked about it often on this program, that Minnesota, when the Big Ten was going to expand in the 50s, Minnesota sponsored Michigan State. Michigan sponsored Pittsburgh, who's playing tonight. There's books about it. You can read about it. Minnesota and Michigan went after each other. Michigan State was not AAU at the time. Pittsburgh supposedly was, if I remember the story correct. And Minnesota won out. That's why Michigan State entered the Big Ten, because of Minnesota. But in the modern day, it's been a Wisconsin-Michigan faction ever since Penn State's come into the conference. Ohio State and Penn State have become somewhat closer. So that's... But if you are... If you are a program like Florida State, Kerry Gold knows it's time to separate the contenders from the pretenders. And Panthers looking like a contender. Big SMU game next week. Like Florida State, when I talk about Florida State building those relationships, needing to build with those relationships. What I'm talking about, to be blunt, is to build those relationships with Michigan and Wisconsin. You're going to need the big two research universities to cast their vote for Florida State. And, of course, the Buckeyes, too. The Buckeyes, we talked about it when the Oregon-Washington thing went down. Before it went down, I gave everybody a roadmap of what it would have to take for Oregon and Washington to join the Big Ten, and all those domino pieces fell, one right after the other. And I said at the time, the Buckeyes were not for Oregon and Washington. They were not. Neither was Penn State. But pretty much the rest of the conference was. Iowa was not for it. Iowa, Ohio State, Penn State. Michigan and Wisconsin was for the addition of Oregon and Washington. And then Minnesota fell in. Nebraska was for it. Illinois, Northwestern, the rest of the programs fell in line. Okay. But in return, the Buckeyes, more than ever, because they usually don't use their power in this way, but more than ever, they're going to be calling the shots here on the next conference realignment. They're going to be calling the shots. Not so much Michigan and Wisconsin. And that is why, not the only reason why, but that is one of the big reasons why the Big Ten is just going to be more, how do I say it? To go ahead and wait more, give Notre Dame more time to see if they come aboard. Because that's who the Buckeyes would want. And they've said it, of course, they've said it in private. They've said it in public. Gene Smith, Notre Dame alumni, big relationship with Notre Dame. Of course, now he's retiring. He's retired. But that's who the Buckeyes want. And let's go another step further. The Buckeyes would also want Stanford. So getting back to the question of Stanford and Notre Dame, the Buckeyes would be in Stanford's corner on that. So there are different factions. If you remember the announcement of USC and UCLA, when Gene Smith went up there in front of the microphone, and the Ohio State president at the time, I don't remember her name, it was a lady. She was an alumnus of Stanford, and they asked some Stanford question, and she said, well, she's sort of like, both Gene Smith and the president were both kind of, they couldn't really say it, but they kind of said it a little bit, but they are pro Notre Dame, Stanford. They would support that. And the Buckeyes are going to be having a lot of power and calling the shots. So that is another reason why there's been a pause. Like, okay, just hold on. Remember, everybody, the Buckeyes basically, hold on. Remember, we acquiesced. We're fine. You added Oregon and Washington, blah, blah, blah. But now we're going to do what we want. Our interests have to be scratched. The Buckeyes' interests have to be scratched. And so, and they want Notre Dame. So we'll see what happens. Thank you, Kerry Gold Nose. Appreciate it. Once again, the super chat. Time to separate the contenders from the pretenders. Eva Badgers, Jeff Olson. The Wisconsin Badgers are very powerful, along with Michigan. They are the two largest research universities in the Big Ten. Now that Washington has moved in, they're two of the top three, besides Johns Hopkins. But I'm talking full members. And so they're always, if you want, you got to get, almost always, you got to get Wisconsin and Michigan on board early. They got to be your supporter. They do. Michigan wanted Rutgers. So when North Carolina and Virginia balked at the idea of joining the Big Ten, and Delaney wanted to get into the East Coast, he wanted the Big Ten to become a two-region conference to add schools close to Penn State. He couldn't get North Carolina. They said no. He couldn't get Virginia. They said no. Then it was up to Maryland, and then they were looking for another, and Michigan said, we would accept Rutgers. So then Jim Delaney went back to the presidents and said, if we get Maryland, we'll bring in Rutgers. If we don't bring in Maryland, we're not bringing in Rutgers. Everybody agreed. Then there was a hard pressure, hard sell. Maryland, Big Ten. Maryland said, yes, we would love to join, but we need help. We need loans, blah, blah, blah. Rutgers says, well, we need the same thing. It went back, blah, 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 back and forth, and it got done. But it was Michigan that said, take in Rutgers. We want Rutgers. We want New Jersey. So many Michigan alumnus go from New Jersey, and they go work in New Jersey and all that stuff. Michigan wanted the large research university of Rutgers. So it was Michigan that sponsored Rutgers. It was Michigan that made it basically possible for Maryland to come on in. So that's how all that happened. Ricky, Greg, do you think Nebraska would have been better off if Kansas and Missouri joined at the same time? That's a great question. I think Nebraska would have been better off if they would have figured out that they needed to have more of a Big Ten roster. They didn't figure it out forever. I mean, Nebraska did not give themselves a chance to play at a very high level. And then Scott Frost made it worse. Everybody talks, well, Nebraska can't play because they can't get Texas recruits. They get a couple of Texas recruits. Minnesota gets a few of them. Iowa gets a few. But then again, Nebraska basically always loses to all of us. And the biggest reason is because they've just been like, they don't run the ball. They're not big. They're not. Matt Rule has publicly stated we need to be more like the Big Ten schools to beat them. We can't play this finesse football. They can't get the athletes at the other teams that try to, outspeed you up and down the field. Nebraska can't do that. Maybe they can do it a little bit, but then they get too small and they get hammered. They get hammered throughout this season. Matt Rule is changing the football program. So I don't know. That really doesn't have anything to do with Kansas and Missouri. It probably would have helped if they would have grabbed Missouri for Nebraska. They helped recruit in Missouri. But I would say yes, marginally it would have helped Nebraska. So my answer is yes on that question. But on the other hand, Nebraska made a lot of mistakes. And Nebraska fans will say they made a lot of mistakes. Steve Sipple will tell people they made a lot of mistakes. Looking back, they made a lot of mistakes. At the time, us Big Ten fans in the Midwest kept saying, why are they doing that? 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 Why do they have an offense that tries to play like UCF, Scott Frost? That's not going to work. You can't have quarterback design runs 20 times a game and work in the Big Ten. It doesn't work. It doesn't. It's not going to work in November. Your quarterback is not going to survive. You can't be small at the linebacker position. You're going to get hurt. You can't be small at the defensive tackle position. You're going to get smoked. And that's what's been going on at Nebraska. Matt Rule is changing it, though. He's changing it. But thank you, Ricky, for the super chat. I appreciate it. It would have helped if it got Oklahoma in with us. Yeah, that would have helped. That would have helped. What is helping Nebraska now is you got a good coach. You got a good coach. I know you got whooped last week, but Indiana's a different animal this year. You're probably going to get whooped this week, but Nebraska's going to get to 6 wins or 7 wins or 8 wins. You're going to get into a bowl game. Nebraska's going to have momentum into next season for the first time in a long time. And that is going to help because Nebraska has a big NIL because they have a massive fan base, a rich fan base that's willing to hand over their hard-earned dollars to the program. So Nebraska is finally going to get momentum. They just got to get that 6th win. And hopefully for Nebraska, it comes against UCLA. Robert Perez is in the house. Thank you, Robert Perez. Okay, so, guys, I think we're going to call it for today. We've been on the air for 2.5 hours. This was going to be a watch party. The game is over, 31-0. It's not happening. It ain't happening. So, we're going to be on late tomorrow night. Boise State versus UNLV, watch party Friday. Notre Dame, Navy, watch party Saturday. We're going to have many, many watch parties this weekend. So I think we'll probably just shut it down for tonight. Pittsburgh is having a party. Pittsburgh is having a party at Syracuse expense. So I think we're going to shut it down. I appreciate all the super chats. Holy smokes. The incredible generosity of Kerry Gold Nose, Trent Brown, Ricky Tungate, the Eva Badger, Ryan Willie, Expedition Greg, Helmer Henderson. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the great comments in the chat room and for the wonderful phone calls. Again, if you're new to the channel, if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe. Smash that like button if you've liked our content tonight. And have those notifications turned on because we're coming on tomorrow. Now, we're going to be coming on earlier tomorrow if there's any breaking news. If there's not breaking news, we're going to see you tomorrow night. Big watch party. UNLV, the Rebels, versus, holy smokes, the Boise State Broncos in a big, massive G5 game. Until next time, from all of us at College Football's Peek Around the Corner, to all of you, please, 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 you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.